Hey guys, Joe here, the guy who is currently just been binging the crap out of a show called Spaced right now. It's amazing. It's on Amazon Prime right now for me, so I'm binging it. And UFC London was technically yesterday during the day for me, and at night for a lot of you as well. Um, and I didn't get to watch it live. I had errands to run, and I had an issue with a car. My car battery died on me, so I haven't had to fought with that yesterday. Do all that mess was no fun. So I didn't get to watch it until after all my plans were for the day. But how was it? Did I have fun? I made my debut on a UFC London card. Did it live up to that one? No, no, it didn't. That's still the best London card ever. But I did have a good time with this one. So let's just enough talk. Let's get to the fights. Main event, welterweight matchup, Leon Edwards versus Sean Brady. And man, Sean Brady just kind of smashed on Leon Edwards. Shockingly smashed on him. A lot of pressure on the feet with strikes, and then he would use that to get into his wrestling game and just dominate on the ground. And it kind of felt like Leon was a little frozen in there because I think he was afraid of the wrestling threat. But because the punches are going, it makes him start thinking, and then here comes the takedown. We've seen it a million times in MMA. It just is what it is, and it's very common strike. It's a very common styling, and been historically an incredibly successful one. It's been a very incredibly successful game plan. So there you go. Uh, and Yeah, it was just a very grinding, dominating fight. There's big pressure, wearing out Leon, and then in the fourth round, Sean Brady gets a very quick takedown, then gets a guillotine from top position. I think he was mounted guillotine, and gets a tap. So I've two potential takeaways here. The one is John Brady is a lot better than we thought. We kind of stopped giving him a lot of credit once he got finished by Bilal Muhammad. Like, Bilal Muhammad is obviously the champion. He's a great fighter. No doubt about it. He's a champion, you know. But finished by Bilal Muhammad? Yeah, dude. Come on, man. Like, really? Come on, man. That guy couldn't even knock you down. He got finished fine. Um, I mean, again, those are all in jest because I feel like that's kind of like the mentality we've all had, and he definitely seems like he's turned that corner the limit we saw in that fight, and kind of trying to use it to pump him up to a higher level, and that's good. You want that, especially in a division that's full of divas and aging, like 170 is. But I think a lot of that's starting to fade. I think the new breed is starting to come in. Personally, um, guys like Shavkat who will be champion. It feels like basically just it's a win. Is he going to be healthy and fight for the belt? He's winning the belt. Um, so that's possibility one. The other one is William Muhammad made an interesting point that Sean Brady was going to get in there, dominate him, and finish him because he broke Leon Edwards. And it kind of looked like it at times to me. So is that a thing? Like, which is it? Because it's either one or the other. I feel like in this position, um, you know, did Leon losing in a dominant wrestling fashion, do Bilal kind of get in his head a little bit? Uh, especially after how, he was, I mean, before the eye poke, he was beating Bilal Muhammad very, very cleanly. And then you lose like that to him, you just get dominated and grinded on for 5 rounds. Like, does that play with your head now? And and does that affect him here? It has to, right? But we don't know. We don't know. We're not. We can only analyze from what we see. We can speculate. So, what do you what how do you guys think it is? Is it one or two, or is it a little bit of column A, column B, kind of, you know? I think that's also probably the third option, actually, when I think about it. But either way, we have a new contender, welterweight, and I also hope that Leon gets back to his winning ways. I will always like him for beating Kamaru Usman when the height of Kamaru's absolutely better than GSP was like at its height. Co-main event, light heavyweight matchup between Carlos Ulberg and Jan Blachowicz. After a really stressful and annoying day, I actually had a really good night. I don't know if it was adrenaline wearing off. This fight sucked. Was it the fact that most of this fight was just careful jabs, an occasional, or like it was careful jabbing, low kicks, and like an occasional combination? If I was lucky, yeah, maybe that's part of it too. So Carlos Ulberg, he wins a decision here in a close fight that I admittingly was like, I was so uninterested, I wasn't scoring. I feel bad. But I know a lot of people say like, it's really close. I was like, I thought it was close too, but it was kind of like an I don't care kind of thing. You watch so many Apex cards, it starts to break you. And this felt like an Apex fight. Um, but we finally have new blood at 205. So I hope it gets exciting from here on out with him. And to be fair, at the top of my head, remembering his performances, they've always at least been exciting. He is a striker, comes from City Kickboxing. You kind of hope for some good striking there. But for the rest of the card, because I have some cool things to say about this. Kevin Holland, he nearly put Gunnar Nelson away. Actually, he like was really close to putting him away. But Kevin Holland does get a very close decision win. I think I think you could score the last two rounds for Gunnar Nelson. You can at least score. Is it round two or three? But I don't know. Um, I've heard some people even toss around draw. So I can see that too. If you want to get to the first one to 10-8, I can kind of understand it. I don't think so personally, but it was like this close to getting finished. Alexia Thanara came in like on what? Like I think someone said 11 days, maybe 8, 9 days notice to take on Molly McCann. Came in, lands a big punch, then gets a takedown, locks in a rear naked choke, upsets Molly the meatball, and there we go. Submission win in the first round for Alexia Thanara. And Molly McCann retires after the fight. And so, congratulations on retirement, and I hope you enjoy it. Chris Duncan just put it on Jordan Vucinic early and then gets a guillotine choke in round two. It's good, very, very good stuff. Nathaniel Wood, who I just love watching fight. I really love watching Nathaniel Wood fight. Just put it on Morgan Charrier. Is it Charrier? Over 3 rounds. Great submission attempts. And just dominated the striking. Dropped him in round one. Was catching him with good lead hands. Very, very good performance from Nathaniel Wood. Chris Padilla beat Jai Herbert with a lot of movement and just kind of forcing Herbert to chase him so he could try to lead him onto a shot. Um, the frustration that Herbert was feeling in trying to cut the cage off led to inactivity, which made it slow at times. Loner Kavanaugh beat Felipe dos Santos in a very, very bloody, not very bloody, but Kavanaugh was bleeding pretty hard after the first round, the elbow he took in the first round. He was bleeding pretty hard in a very fast-paced fight by unanimous decision. It was honestly it was a lot of fun. The fight was fun because it just the pace was so fast. That's what I love about flyweight fights. Like feel like one in every four flyweight fights is like at least the potential of being like kind of okay, sure. But I feel like man, lately they've been incredibly like jolting. I wish that division had a little bit more stakes ongoing with it right now, but that's all it needs to be the top division. I think in the UFC, at least for me personally. Christian Leroy Duncan beat Pulyev. Yeah, Andre Pulyev by unanimous decision. Shauna Bannon, shout out to this one, nearly gets KO'd by a head kick from Puha Tomar and then just gets an armbar from like the very brink of the feet, gets an armbar win. Insanity. It was round two. Yeah, it was round two. It was round two. Uh, Talon Lorraine beats Nathan Fletcher in a very close fight. I've seen scorecards all over for this one. I was already getting kind of tired near the end, and I was already kind of writing this. So, admittingly, sometimes like on early prelims because I watch them top to bottom. If I'm not watching them live, if I'm watching them live, obviously I watch from the top. But I watch it Bo Nickel style, who suggested we start top to bottom from now on. Most recently, um, that's what his suggestion was. I don't know how I feel. I don't think I like that one. I do it just because there's obviously like if I'm trying to shoot this for you guys, it's it's easier for me to put all my effort and attention into the last fight. If I'm watching it live, that's what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I'll go back and rewatch something after if I watch it live the first time so I can like pause, rewind, see something, you know. When I'm watching it after the fact, it's like I'm pausing, rewinding and stuff like that all the time. Fast forwarding if it's like a lot of wall install. um, and to open up the card, Cal Fernandez beat Guram Gutulades very convincingly for the very first fight of the card, winning a unanimous decision. That's it for UFC London. I do have one more thing though, because man, my heart just goes out to the friends and family of George Foreman, who passed away at the age of 76. Two-time world heavyweight champion. He was heavyweight champion in the 70s, and then in 1994, almost 20 years later, he became world champion again. Olympic gold medalist, and he's my personal pick. I think a lot of people would say different names, but they're always going to put him in the top three or four, maybe top two. He's my personal pick for the single hardest puncher of all time. There's videos of him like from like 2, 3 years ago, like hitting the bag, and like people have to like physically hold. Like when you're like hitting the bag hard, there would be a guy holding it there for you. Like that's a thing. But these guys are like oh my, he was destroying the boxing gloves of old and bags of old, just knocking him off chains back in his 20s, tearing holes into his gloves, punching almost bare knuckle. Hardest hitter I've ever seen. I don't think I stunning. And known for the mummy style. He'd come out, hands like this, reaching out like that. And what he's doing is he's parrying your hands. He knows you're going to jab and he's trying to parry your punches like when they start. So you're like your hands here, you're boxed up, trying to jab. He's parrying them out of the way, trying to frustrate you. And then when you're getting your hands out of the way to then step in and turn the hands up, then to step in and turn it over to like a hook or straight or an uppercut. Very good ring cutter as well. But he retired due to a health scare, came back in his 40s, one punch, one of the most famous punches of all time, and a one punch knockout over Michael Moore in 1994, the year I was born, to become heavyweight champion again. And he's opposite Muhammad Ali in probably the most famous fight of all time. I think it's the most famous fight of all time, potentially. It's at least the most famous boxing fight of all time, which is the Rumble in the Jungle in 1974 in Zaire, Africa. I believe. I forget the country. I don't think Zaire is the country. I believe it is the city it is in, but it was in Africa. He survived by 11 children as he had one of his daughters pass away in 2019, something no parent should ever go through. And my heart goes out to each and every one of them and all his friends and extended family as well. You know, because right now, I'll say this: I imagine he's probably not. He born again Christian, became a pastor. I'd imagine he's up in heaven right now, probably knocking out angels at sparring matches, accidentally. Dude had way too much power for, he's probably knocking wings off and halos off for sure. Once again, all my condolences and wishes. One of my favorites ever to watch. Thank you so much for the enjoyment that you've brought to my life. Thank you once again, champ. That's it for me. I know you guys are gonna miss me, and of course I'll be back next week. Don't worry. They're gonna have Apex cards every week until I'm done with everything. Actually, I don't remember what the card is next week. Maybe there isn't a card next week. I know there's no pay-per-view next week. That's what I know. Pay-per-view is in 2 weeks from Saturday. So that's when. I know that. So, but once again, that's it for me. Please check out UFC 104 Retro Review, the main channel. I know some of my favorites, I did see y'all commenting on it, and I watched it early on Patreon. I was supposed to comment and make some jokes, like, not at anyone's expense, just, joke around with y'all and stuff like that. Please give warm welcomes for that video. It is very good stuff, I do say so myself. I do appreciate it, and thanks once again for putting up with ASMR Joe, as it is 3:43 a.m. where I'm at right now. I'm getting pretty tired, but that's what I have. That's what I get for having a busy Saturday. But anyways, I'm Joe with the INC, and thank you so much for watching. Peace.